This is to certify that movie
Twats
has been classified for live streaming.
Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us for another week on Movie Chat. This week's slightly different. We have a special guest on, and we're going to be talking collecting versus reselling. So as you can see, Steve and I like to collect various items, and we do some selling as well when there is items that we no longer want. However, we have got a special guest that does that for a full-time living. Before we bring on the star of the show, Stevie, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You?
Not so bad. Have you had a good week?
Yeah, it's not been too bad. I've been out getting a few bits today. Had a trot down to Newark and then jumped into town, so picked up a few bits. It's good. But yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
Good stuff. Right, let's bring on our special guest for this evening. Some of you might know who he is. Some of you won't know who he is.
All right. He's got an itchy armpit. Sorry.
Yeah, here he is.
Good
Hey, everybody.
evening. Good evening, Chris. How are you? You okay?
Not bad, thanks. You all right?
Yes, not bad. So, as you can see behind Chris, Chris is also a figure collector as well as a reseller. Chris, for our movie-based watchers, would you like to tell them who you are and what you do?
Yeah. My name's Chris, aka
Wow, he's good.
Chosen Chris, according to Jeff. Carboot Chris, and we've got a YouTube channel, Cookie and the Haydens, as well, if you want to follow that. But I'm a full-time reseller / collector, so I do collect quite a bit as well.
Gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I do it full time, and it is hard, deciding what to keep and what to sell.
I do have to apologise about my co-host. He seems to be fanboying that we've got you back on the channel for some reason. Look at the smile on his face.
Because it's the original trio, mate. That's what it is.
I hear
It's
he
the
takes home
original
6 figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's about the only 6 figures I'm getting.
Yeah, that's true.
Excuse me a minute, guys. Excuse me. I'm just having me pudding.
Oh, it's just cheese and Christmas cake
Cake and
already.
cheese.
Bloody September and you're having Christmas cake and cheese.
Cheese as well.
Oh my god.
Christmas
I
cake.
don't know.
There's
Oh,
only
piece
one
of
person
cheese.
that eats on this channel, Chris, and it ain't you.
Cheese.
Don't you
Bloody hell.
put the cheese on the cake and have them both together?
Oh god, that sounds rank.
You could do if you wanted to.
That sounds horrible. To be fair, I popped into Morrison's today and I think I had a look and I was like, oh, mince pies already. Oh, I might have some of those.
Yeah,
But I've gone with the chocolate apples instead because it's nearly Halloween.
The only thing about living so close to Costco is that it only takes you 10 minutes to drive up to get Costco mince pies. And they are the best mince pies ever.
Are they?
Yeah, definitely eat the Costco ones. Anyway, we're not here to talk about food because, as you know, I am on a diet, so I'm trying to be good. So stop trying to lead me astray by talking about food. Thank you, Chris. Your whatnot parcels have arrived this morning. So I know you only posted them yesterday, so very quick delivery. Thank you very much. They will be opened on the channel or on a video.
Has Steve not got his?
No, because
Well,
you didn't
they
pay
were
extra.
both sent DPD next day delivery, so you should have had him today.
Well, I bloody haven't.
Yeah,
Well, I'll tell you something. Actually, Steve, while you're there, I've got something in the background for you that I got from this guy down here to send to here to then go to you.
Why didn't you just get him to send it to me?
Because it was in my box, but basically you'd fell asleep on one of the whatnots the other week. So I paid an absolute fortune for something that you would want.
Okay. Would you care to share?
Yeah, we'll do.
You should have just messaged me. I could have put it in his box.
It's all right. It's worked for me.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to tell me you've already got it?
Hang on a sec.
He's already got that one, Steve. I've seen it.
You didn't tell me that before I bought it.
No, you didn't say it was for Big Steve.
Did
Oh,
you tell him it was? Did you tell him it was for me?
No.
And
Well, it's
you,
all right. I'll keep it for myself anyway.
and you obviously don't watch our own content, Steve. I've talked about Johnny Rico in this pop soda.
Do you know what? I try and do something nice for you, and it just blows up in my face. I'm going to send you a fucking can of Coke instead then. Bollocks to you. And it'll be diet.
Ladies and gents, you should have saw the sulky message he sent me on Tuesday after I won that Mad Hatter Funko soda and whatnot. He was like, "What you doing? What you doing?" I wanted the Mad Hatter, and he went, "So did I."
And then he's taking a mick because I won't bid over a £5 for things. Shocking. This is what controversy your channel causes, Chris.
Do you know what the best thing about it, Steve? It's not actually for me. It's for Mel next door.
Ah, fair enough.
So
like I say, I try to do something nice, but I've got other things I've got for you anyway, so it's not a problem.
You can always send them up to me, and I'll have 2 Johnny Ricos.
No, because it'll end up getting traded in somewhere.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, see what I mean, Chris? You mean?
Yeah,
we know.
You trade that straight in.
So, Chris, you were talking about picking up some figures and stuff like that for your whatnots now. So, are you deliberately keeping an eye out for stuff like that, as in bundles and stuff like that for you to sell? And
now, since I've been doing whatnot, obviously I don't really sell under £10 items on eBay. It's not really worth the effort anymore. But if you can pick up an item for £1 and flip it, the same week, without having to photograph it, without having to list it, without having to research it, just bang it on in a 2-hour show. If you can flip it for £10 like that, that is worth it. I mean, there are fees on whatnot, but it's still worth the quick flip if you can do it, because if I can sell 50 items in 2 hours, which is what I'm doing on a regular basis now, somewhere between £5 and £10 an item on average. Some go over, some go under. It's worth it. I definitely think it's worth it.
Well, this is the thing, and I think the thing is, looking at that, you might not sell that 50 items in a month. And I don't mean in general. I mean, like, of those particular ones you want to sell, there's no guarantee that you're going to get rid of them in a month, is there really?
Even if I banged all those 50 items on eBay at like £8-9 a piece, £10 whatever, it might sit there for 2-3 months before they move.
Yeah. Just to explain whatnot to people that don't know what it is, and I know I've shared clips and stuff like that on pickups of what it is. It's an online auction site, so it's live auctions. Chris will put an item up, say NECA Spawn, for example, that I picked up.
That's amazing.
15 quid.
Nice.
So he'll put an item on the screen or on the wall, or he'll have a wall of items, and then you bid for the right to pick which one you want. Now, when you're bidding, so he starts off at £1. So when you're bidding, you have no idea what the person you're bidding against actually wants. So what Steve and I have done in the past is that we've actually bidded each other up on different items that we didn't know each other wanted, or we've bidded each other up on items that we both wanted. So it gets quite competitive, really, and you sort of having to justify how much you're willing to spend. The good thing about whatnot, though, is that the more you buy, the less you pay on postage for that item. So your first item starts off roughly at £2.60 an item for postage, and then your next item drops down to 60p, and so on. So
does it drop down though any further than 60p?
There's a couple of people I know that use it regularly, and they're getting 30p postage now. So the first items on the 60 is the £2.60, then it drops to 30p an item.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a reward for you spending money on the platform.
Bloody hell, we should be getting it for free at that point.
Well, this is it, you see. So
depends.
Keep your eyes out for whatnot.
Sorry, Steve. It depends what weight parameters I put in at the start of the show.
Yeah.
Will depend on what you get charged, and then what you get charged subsequently.
Yeah.
Because I don't pre-populate every item and weigh it. I just do an average weight for each item like that. I overweigh it slightly just to make sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of, and also it's Whatnot's system. If all your combination, all your bundle of items that you bought over the course of the night comes in at under 2 kilograms, as what I've said the weights are of each item, it will go if it goes over 2 kilograms, it will go DPD next day. So I think that's when the price changes sort of sometimes change as well.
So I did notice that on the last one, to be honest.
Yeah,
all right work.
Jeff is right on that one. You can always bid against yourself. Now, Whatnot doesn't recognize that it's actually you that's bidding against yourself there. So every time you swipe, it recognizes that the bid's going up. So poor Jeff could have won a 4-hammer at 25 quid, but he ended up paying 53 for it because he just kept swiping. It was amazing to watch. It was amazing. It was great TV. Amazing to watch. So I've shared Whatnot a few times on the video, so please, I'll put the link into the Movie Chats and Film Geeks Facebook page. Please go and register. If you register via my link, you'll get £10 free to spend on Whatnot, and when you spend it, I'll get £10 free as well.
If you prefer, you can support Carboot Chris and use his link.
Yeah, there is that as well. Two of you fighting up. I think for me,
use his link.
Yeah,
I was going to say I'll put both links down there. So if you want to register via one of those links, one of us will get it. There's no point Chris getting it because he's not going to buy items off himself. So send it to me. I'll spend it and I'll show you what we pick.
And then it'll be more content. There you go. See,
that's it.
So,
you see.
I mean, for me, the best pickup I've had so far is definitely this dude here. You know, he was. You were right when you said in the thing that he's really, really detailed. It's awesome.
They are nice. Those.
I'd never seen them before. I obviously knew of NECA, but this is, what did you say these were? Is it
Mezco? I think it's Mezco. It's a well-known toy brand.
They are really, really cool. I might have to look for some others. But yeah, when he turned up, I was like, "That's amazing," and it's really weighty as well. It's quite a heavy unit, quite a heavy figure. But yeah, so, he's trying to place in my collection now.
What did you actually get him for, Steve?
I think I might have paid about between 15 and 20 for him in the end.
Yeah,
he was one of the more expensive purchases, but it was like you say. The thing is that the second he went on the shelf, every man and his dog was bidding, so it sort of raised that up, didn't it?
That's the problem with him, you see. Did you get that the week I was on holiday, didn't you?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because I left early, didn't I? Because Lana was giving me punches because I was on Whatnot.
Again, I got him on the same one as a soda because you stopped. You weren't there, so I was like, shit, I'll get that because I know we'd like it.
So when you're buying these bundles and you've got your eyes on the Whatnots, then how? Because the whole point of tonight's show is talking about the buying versus the reselling and the collecting. How difficult is it for you to decide what it is that you are keeping compared to what would be good to sell on eBay versus Whatnot? Because this is your full-time job, isn't it? This is how you make money. So
yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky because those horror figures, like the ones that, the one that Steve, I had like 3 of those different ones. So I could well have kept them. In another week, I would have kept them and put them on my shelf. I've got loads of horror stuff at the back here.
Yeah, that's it.
But I guess you just have to be a little bit disciplined. I only keep it if I really, really want it, or I've got a real affinity with the film. It's one of my favorite films or something like that. Then I'll keep it. Or if it complements my collection, I'll keep it. But I love all the horror figures, but I can't say I'm a big fan. I'm a massive fan of Halloween or Friday 13th and that. I'm not a massive fan, but I can appreciate all the figures that come with it and the characters. So I don't know. I just have to weigh up each one. A lot of the time, if I buy a bundle, whether it be on a lot of the time it's eBay. You know, you can buy on eBay and sell on other platforms, like I said in a previous video, or might be Vinted. It could be on Facebook Marketplace, or even just down the boot sale. You know, picking up a bundle on a stall or 1 or 2 figures. A lot of the time, when at the buying point, I've already decided what I'm keeping out of that bundle and what's going. So yeah, like, you know, if there's anything Killer Clowns in there, you know, you'll
yeah, exactly.
That's going straight on my shelf. If there's any Zombievers in there, which there never is because you never find it, but if there was, I would keep it.
I mean, the thing is that from our point of view, when we moved you into the other house, there was a few things on display, but it was very limited. It was only when we came to your house this time round in this new house that it really sort of showed how much stuff you had. You know,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of people in there that I've never seen.
Boxed up, and it was never out on show in the other house, the first move that we did, because we knew we were not going to be there forever because it was a rented house, and you know, long term we weren't going to rent. So I only got out, you know, probably half the collection, but now everything is out, and I've got rid of a lot as well. I've kind of condensed down, and I have stuff out in the hallway as well, which hasn't been able to fit in my office here. So got all my Walking Dead stuff is in the hallway. All the Harry Potter stuff and a few other figures is in the hallway. But there's nothing lofted at the minute, as far as I can recall. Everything is out. Everything is out on display that I wanted to keep.
Yeah, and there's such a collection though. It's a massive collection of stuff. It's really cool. But I think you were saying recently though, Steve, weren't you, about, you know, having a collection and being a bit more picky with it and getting the bigger figures rather than
getting like the diamond select figures and stuff like that.
Buys half the Bucky O'Hare stuff.
Yeah, I've still got to open a box full of Bucky O'Hare figures that I've but yeah, I have cut down on a lot of stuff, you know, picking up like Terminator figures and stuff like that, and me Star Trek Eagle Moss stuff's all gone now, and so should be Star Trek Playmate stuff, that, you know, stuff like that they were nice to have, nice to displays, but then it's more of a case of I could live with that. I've still got the bigger ships, I just haven't got the little ones now, and it freed up a lot of space for me to get other stuff. Like I say, I've got to be very picky. It's going to be interesting the next time we all go car booting together, because, you know, I'm going to be really picky. Chris is just going to be picking everything up for either eBay, whatnot, etc. And Steve, you're not going to spend more than £5, so I've not got to worry about you. But I am finding myself being more picky about what I'm picking up for the collection. I've still got the trading avenue, so if I'd see any good figures cheap, then it's worth picking up so I can trade in. But like I say, I put them off towards the bigger Transformers and stuff like that. Build up a bit of store credit with a couple of stores that I do that with nowadays. So yeah, but looking at your room, Steve, you just seem to be expanding on things on shelves there.
At the minute I've got a lot of moving about to sort out again. But it's just I've got some random bits, like I've got a Batman here and I've got a Transformers because I wanted the one figure out of it, so I paid £2.
What have you got?
It's that one I showed you the other week. It's nothing special. It's just that car thing.
Oh right, yeah.
You know, and I've got bits like that, and then I've got to find somewhere for my ET pillow to go. I say pillow. Is it a pillow, Chris? I think it is, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. What's your long-term plan, little Steve, for your collection? Because you've only got a tiny little room there.
Well, we have at the minute, but it's all to do with the extension downstairs, you know, and what's holding that up is that subsidence, you know. So until we can get that sorted out, everything's sort of on hold, because there's no point doing the extension and then finding out that the house needs underpinning. You you know. So unfortunately, we've had to go through a year's worth of measurements where they've come and measured it every 6 to 8 weeks or whatever to see what it's the tree at the front to see what damage is being caused to the house, and then obviously we'll go from there. But like I say, when I think the loft will be probably my option, but it'll have to be done within building regulations, which is an issue with it being too low at the minute. But yeah, we're working around it. But I just need to, once I get that room downstairs done, and then we'll see where we go with it. Because obviously I want to get the other one is I want to get them city pictures up as well in the house. You know, but she's not going to let me put them in the front room.
No. Did you sell 4 boxes worth of your collection, Max, or did you trade it in or anything like that? Is it listed anywhere? Because that's the topic of the conversation today is the keeping it for your collection or reselling it in, and the headache that gives you. Because like I say, I'm so glad now that Lana doesn't do the reselling, because if I pick anything cool up at the boot sale now, I don't need to have that awkward conversation. Is that for me to sell or is that for you to keep it? It's just for me to keep now.
Yeah.
For me to decide what I'm doing with.
I mean, I was watching Max's video earlier on. I didn't realise I was on the bloody thing because he took a clip from Andrew's video a few weeks back. So I'm sort of sat watching it. All of a sudden, it appeared on it. I was like, "I got a second. What the hell?" That was quite funny. But yeah, like I said, I think for me, you guys obviously aware, I'm trying to get a bit more into looking at the reselling side of it and what I can do. And, you know, I've got things in the house that I've hoarded for too long. But there is stuff that you sort of have a bit of an impulse buy, you know, whether that be at a charity shop because it's cheap or whether, you know, it's on whatnot. And it's like you end up paying a little bit more than you would have done. Just because you sort of get emotional with the bidding. But there's stuff that I need to sort of clear out, I think, as well. But a lot of the stuff I have bought is because I genuinely don't see them all the time, like the VR Troopers, that sort of, you know, Mike Myers and all those good stuff. But I think even Blu-ray Blu-ray wise, I need to have a bit of a sort out, but there is no value in some of them, and that's the thing. Is, you know, it's all right saying, well, I don't need Harold and Kumar Christmas, but if I was to take that anywhere, I'd probably get a penny for it. Yeah. So would I rather just keep it? What, and upgrade your whatnot giveaways to Blu-rays?
Yeah, we'll have Blu-ray movie picks. I'm trying to don't get rid of them for a penny. I'll have them if you're going to get rid of them for a penny.
I do like.
I'll give you 2p.
Thanks, mate.
I do like how on the whatnot the movie giveaways have been unofficially sponsored by Movie Chats. I do like that. That's a nice touch. And
that was my idea. That, by the way, I'm supporting you guys.
Yeah, thanks for that.
That is a nice touch. However, what I do find myself doing is entering the giveaway. No, I'm going to get little Steve shit DVDs that he doesn't want.
How dare you?
You keep entering. What? I see your name flash down the list when it's being drawn. I think, why has he entered again?
He's waiting for the Greatest Showman. I was listening to his live story. Yeah, Max, it was right.
We were in Cash Converters in Warrington, and I didn't know there was a Grease 3. How did I miss Grease 3? You know,
it's not Grease 3, it's Alive.
It's such a big fan of Grease as I am, how did I miss Grease 3?
It's not Grease 3, it's Alive. Bloody hell. He was well impressed. He was like, I didn't even realise there was a third one.
No, there was a Grease 3. It could have been an extra film. I could have made a coaster or a windscreen scraper with, or something like that. You
know, I've been because me Teddy fell down the other day from the ET from up there. I've realised I've got 2 teddies. I've got a pillow, and I've now got the same one that you've got, the Furby one. So I've got a bit of a collection going on of him. I don't want to get rid of him because I like to collect the Universal stuff, and Disney stuff. But yeah, there's a few things up there, like a Build-A-Bear Star Wars figure. Star Wars, I probably don't need out all the time. And Freddy Krueger from Rick and Morty. I probably don't need him.
You don't need it out anymore, or you just don't need it?
I don't need it out anymore, I don't think.
So what would you do? Just box it up and put it away?
Yeah, I probably will do.
Well, what's the point of that?
See, that's the conversation. That was the conversation.
That's the conversation, isn't it?
That's the conversation I was having with myself when it comes to my stuff. Do I box it and put it in the loft? But then what's the point in putting it in the loft? If I'm not enjoying it on the shelf and I'm going to put it in the loft and I'm going to forget it's there, I might as well just let it go and let somebody else have the enjoyment of owning a good piece of collection, And
yeah, I mean, the thing is that one of the things that I remember selling on a car boot when I was back in Manchester, and it was me NECA figure of RoboCop, because I had a friend of mine that worked at Forbidden Planet. So I got all these things that were like a slightly damaged box. I'd get it slightly discounted. Yeah. So I got all these things that were like really cool. And obviously at the time, my eldest was born, and it was like, I don't want to have these things. I can't have these things out anywhere. I might as well just get rid of them. And I wish I bloody hadn't now, because some of them would have worth a fortune.
Yeah, it's easier to get rid of the kid than it is to get rid of your collection.
Well, this is it, yeah. So Jeff said he's just picked up Fifth Element on 4K. Yeah, I picked up that the other week.
Evening, Matt.
Yeah, I picked up that.
Yeah.
Good movie. I love that movie. But I think that's the problem. Is I'm not expecting to open the box up one day and realise that a Build-A-Bear is worth an absolute fortune. But it's, I don't know. I only picked it up cheap. It didn't cost me a lot, but like you say, it's just hoarding it, innit?
Yeah.
I think you can pick battles. I think there's a few things that you can just get rid of, because that's what happened when we moved here. Because I had too much stuff to display, so I just thought, well, there's no point in just boxing it up and putting it away and never seeing it again. I mean, there could be a point to it. 30 years time, it might be worth more money, but if I can sell it now, I can put that money towards something that I want, like what Steve was saying, or I can put it in the bank and it can go towards the reselling kitty. And
But when you're in 30 years' time, when you're 90, you're not going to want to go up in that loft space and go and get it, though, are you, Chris? So
90. The way a lot of resellers reason it is because, yes, something in 30 years that you've lofted could be worth 4 times what it is now, 5 times whatever. It could be worth a lot of money. But if I sell something that I was going to loft for £20 now, how many times can I turn that £20 over in 30 years?
Yeah.
And how much profit can I make out of that £20? And I guarantee you tens of times more than what the item will be worth if I just stick it in the loft.
See, one of my other pickups this week is this gorgeous G1 Soundwave.
I feel like you've said the word Soundwave about 16 times on this channel, like that you've already got one. So, or at least one.
I have got the War for Cybertron Soundwave. I've got the Soundwave. I've got the Soundwave Titan Leader. I've got the new Soundwave from the.
Is that like having 4 versions of Dirty Dancing?
No. These are all different versions of Soundwave.
They're different versions of collectibles.
I've got the little Soundwave on my shelf over there, and I've got the deformed Soundwave there. However, this is a gorgeous G1, and he's got the cassette of Ravage in there.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So yeah, that was only That was only £25. Now, bear in mind, this is nearly 40 years old.
So just a couple of things, because obviously sorry guys, we are ignoring you tonight. Hey Matt. Hey Linlin.
Hello to Matt.
Just a quick hello. Off to see the sister. All right, take care, Linlin. Thank you. Movie mod. Sometimes I begrudge the CX price. He's got the Patriot Games 4K. Looked at trading for the Blu-ray for £1. Yeah, I agree with you. What I tend to find is I will very rarely pay full price at CEX. I'll always try and bundle stuff together to try and get the price down, because there is opportunities out there. I think one of them I bought the other week was like, I bought a farming simulator on the PS4 for a couple of quid from one of the charity shops. That traded in for £12, so that took £12 off what I bought. I very rarely I begrudge paying full price in CEX.
Matt's saying that he has a supplier for Blu-rays. He pays £30 for a box, and it's got 120 to 150 Blu-rays in it, depending if it's box size. That's quite good, that, for 30 quid.
I have a supplier for Blu-rays. I pay £30. Bloody hell! I'll tell you what, that's not bad at all. That. I have a lot of scale electric cars. I should really be yeah. And I went into a charity shop the other day, and there was a scale electric came in, and I was like, that looks awesome, and I probably would have got it for about £5, but I wouldn't have done it.
When you say that you've got loads of cars there, Movie Mad, are they on display? Are they in a box? Are they lofted? Are they just, or are they out of the way? But because that for me is all part of the argument. If they're in the box and they're in the loft, and you forget that, or you know that they're up there, but you don't think about them for a while, then yeah, get rid. If they're on the shelf and they look cool, but then you could do without them, then you've got to weigh it up, haven't you? Because some of the scale electric cars look quite cool. Now, although they've gone down the route of all the superhero ones now, haven't they? You can get like the Batmobile and the Joker and all that lot. But I did see a Blues Brothers one the other day. I thought that was quite cool.
You were tempted to pick that up without even having.
I was tempted to pick it up, even though I've got no track. I was tempted to pick it up. But then, if you love them, then why get rid of them? Like I say, there's loads of stuff behind me that I've just got no interest in at all in selling. And then all the stuff that's on this side, I think about quite regularly about getting rid of. But I've cleared it all out now, so.
Well, it's not going to surprise you, but I have watched a lot of videos, especially about hoarding and stuff like that, and going on about people having a clean out, and it's like what gives you an emotional attachment and stuff, and it's very interesting because, like I said to you, I've probably got a good few thousand Blu-rays that I probably won't watch in a while, or but it's difficult for me to get rid of them because I've got that connection with it. It's a really weird thing. It's like I know most of them, where I picked them up from, how much I paid for them, or I just need one more to complete a collection or something, but what I am trying to do is, with the 4K side of it, is pick up stuff that I genuinely am interested in, that I think would improve the picture quality, rather than just be picking up that one because I've already got a Blu-ray copy of something. Is it going to be that much better? Is it something that I'm going to look at and go, I really want to see the better picture quality and sound on it?
So
hey,
I'm going to go back to a comment that Chris made a couple of Mondays ago, because when someone mentioned his collection behind him, you said that you were considering letting the bigger Jurassic Parks go because they take up loads of space. Do you mean the ones that are on the unit behind you, or the ones that are on the shelf, or everything? Because that is quite a lot of space to free up.
There's two big ones there directly behind me, and then
it's on that shelf in the main ones, I think.
There's four big ones up there.
Yeah,
just up here.
And
they're worth about £30-40 a piece.
Yeah,
not a huge amount of money, but they take a lot of room up. But they just look good, and for a fan of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, they look cool. But I'm sacrificing a lot of space for those.
Yeah.
But what would you put in that space, though?
I don't know. A lot of the time at the minute, the reason I'm not keeping stuff and I'm selling it is because I got nowhere to put it.
Mm.
And I don't
Yeah.
want to. I don't want to just put it in a box and put it out of sight. I just don't see the point of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But talking about, just going back to talking about what Steve was saying about DVDs and Blu-rays, about before, when I was part-time reselling, so sort of before we moved, our first move, and we were still in Manchester, and around the time when my first reselling DVDs were videos were coming out on YouTube.
Yeah.
You might recall that room, my movie room.
Yeah, your movie room.
Sometimes I used to set the videos in there. But I had about 4,000 to 5,000 DVDs, Blu-rays. I had a massive collection of. I used to buy.
You didn't have a small amount when we moved you.
Yeah, I used to have them for. I used to buy them for fun. I buy 20, 30 at a time. Charity shops. And I worked for just a few months for a cash generator as a buyer, and I used to stack the DVDs and Blu-rays behind the desk, when they come in, and buy them at the end of the day. I buy 20, 30 at a time, no joke. But I have culled since then. Since we did our first move, I've literally culled almost all my collection. I've hardly got any DVDs left now. They've all gone in one way or another, sold, given away, whatever. And I've kept a lot of my Blu-rays, but now I'm so picky when I'm buying something because we just don't watch them. And since we've moved here, so how long have we been here now? What, 3 months maybe? We've been in this house. We've watched one Blu-ray in that time. And we said, right, and that was a tester, really. That was like, right, I've set up the Blu-ray player. I've set up all the surround sound system in the room. Should we watch one and just test it out? And it were good. Don't get me wrong. It sounded great. But there's always something else to watch. There's always something to stream. There's always something on Netflix. And I'm finding we just don't pick up a physical copy and watch it anymore. We just don't.
See, I picked up a couple of Blu-rays this week, but again, little Steve laughs at me because I went through this culling of mine and cleared the load out and whatever, and it was just the ones that I want to keep now. Like I say, because I'm just being really picky about what I'm picking up. So I picked up Forbidden Planet.
Yeah.
It is a reprinted cover.
Yeah, I saw that dreaded thing on the top.
Yeah, Lana did point that out when I picked it up, but however, you don't see it very often. So, Warrior, just like you say, this goes in and off of Netflix and streaming sites and everything that much that I've just ended up buying a copy. I absolutely love this film. I think Tom Hardy and Joel, what's his name? Joel Edgerton, is it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Edgerton. It's just an absolute brilliant film. And this one was for Lana, who's Aristocats.
Yeah.
She just loves Duchess and Marie. So when I saw this one, I ended up picking up. I paid up for that one. I paid £1.50 in a British Heart Foundation.
Whoa! Oh, Jesus, man.
Yeah. But like I say, I'm being very picky about what I'm picking up because I did the same as you, Chris. When I was picking, when it was like 10 for £1 or 3 for £1, I couldn't just pick one for £1 and just pay £1 for it. I ended up picking the other 9 for the sake of feeling I was getting the deal.
Yeah.
And and it just ends up going. That's why I laugh at myself every time you do a giveaway. I end up swiping to join the giveaway because I know they're just going straight to a charity shop or straight to CEX. And I don't keep them, but I just can't help joining the giveaway.
Yeah. Well, this is it. I mean, one of the things you've just brought up there, which is one of the reasons why I'm in the situation I'm in, really, is apart from the one thing about the charity shops doing 6 for £1 or whatever, that sort of thing. One of the things that we found was Lou had said to me the other week, she was like, oh, she weren't feeling great. And she was like, oh, I just want to put The Office on. I was like, all right, okay. And now obviously she's talking about the Ricky Gervais one. She said, can you go and grab the DVD? And I was like, well, it's on. Is it not on one of the streaming sites? She was like, it was on Netflix, but they took it off now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you're joking. And now that thing's been on there for so long. My box set was in the loft. and I've literally had to go through the loft through thousands of DVDs to find this box set that I've got, because I know I'd bought it, but we didn't need it because it was on one of the streaming sites.
Mm.
You know, and that's the sort of situation where, you know, I mean, I've got obviously the collection of Bottom, you know, that stuff that I was collecting the other week. You know, that stuff isn't on any streaming sites. If she wants to watch it, she loves Bottom, so if she wants to watch that, then I either do it by other means or I have the physical media.
Yeah. One of the charity shops by us is started doing 50p a disc. So if you've got a special edition, say I've picked up 2 disc special edition Warrior, instead of being 50p, it'll be £1 because it's got 2 discs in. If you pick up a series that's got 8 discs in, that series is £4. You know, if you pick up a series that's got 28 discs in, like Star Trek, for example, you're paying £14. So I might as well go CEX and get it for a tenner. So they've priced themselves out of selling these movies, and this is Blu-ray or DVD. It's not just like Blu-ray where they can make money. This is DVD upwards.
Yeah.
So they price themselves where they can actually make money. Now, I know as the reselling community talk a lot about the charity shops now putting the prices up, and it's harder to source for reselling, etc. like that. What do you think they've done now? They've got their own online sort of arms as well. So when it comes to like the collectibles and stuff, on the odd occasion, one slips through, ends up on the shop floor, and it's quite reasonably priced.
Yeah, 100%. I've had it. You have it both ways, you know. I mean, I walked into one the other day, and they had that Transformer box set that I bought, that I paid £20 for at CEX. They had one for £9, and I've never seen that in a charity shop. It's the exact same one as the one I've just bought from CEX, you know. But in the same breath, like I think it's The Good Wife. I got the box set of The Good Wife and Home Improvements as well. I think, you know, I got them from eBay from. I think one of them was RSPCA and the other one might have been British Art Foundation. But they were considerably cheaper than buying it elsewhere. You know, and it's worked out. It has worked out that way. I mean, don't get me wrong, they got that for free. So the fact that they got £20 out of me for one and £18 out of me for the other, say, you know, if that had been in the shop, I probably would have paid that anyway because it was 30, 40, 50 quid sets.
Yeah, so Michael's saying there he doesn't really watch streaming services anymore. He catches stuff in his collection. So, yeah, when Netflix was the streaming site, you know, and then you could justify paying that. But now everyone's got a streaming site that you're paying £7, £8 a month for. Before you realise that you're spending £80 a month, you might as well have got Sky, because Sky have now got access to Paramount Plus and to Netflix as part of your subscription. Yeah. So that's the balance I seem to do in my head there. But like I say, we've got Netflix and then we've got Now TV, and the rest of it is just when I can find it on that. CEX, Jeff, is like a electronic stroke media trading. So they do have new items from time to time, but it's mostly deals with second-hand items that people trade in. And then, so they tend to give you like a third of the price of whatever they're going to sell it for as trading. So that's what I've seen to find with like electronics or whatever like that when I've took it in. If they're going to sell it for £50, they'll give me £20 for it or something. And then
that's it. Hey Neil. Hey Pat.
It is worth getting the trading because you get more on the trading value than you do for cash. For cash, they just give you pennies for everything, and then off you go. But for trading, they know that you're going to spend that within the store.
In the US, it's probably like a bigger version of like GameStop in the US. Like GameStop, you can go in and trade all your stuff in like you can with game shops, but obviously CEX has all kinds of electronics and everything you can think of.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, it's not great being in the middle of these two.
Yeah, he's not used to being this low down on a
No,
chat.
that's it. You see, he's usually in the corner.
Fletch one says 20p a disc at his charity shop. I've had it before. I mean, I have. I think the thing is that I've got one thing we're not short of in my area is charity shops, and every one of them have got a completely different philosophy when it comes to these, structure when it comes to selling this stuff. And I have had it where I've walked in and I've said to, oh, how much is that box set? And they've gone, well, how many bits are in it? 1, 2, 3. And I have had it where they've tried to, and I've put them straight in some cases because it was 2 for £1 on DVDs, and they were like that situation. They were like, right, well that's 12 discs, so £6, and I'm like, what? Really. But it's worked out in my favour sometimes, and sometimes it hasn't. I've got one around the corner now that's quite good with. Look, if it's a box set, it's £3, regardless of the box set. And I got the House Blu-ray box set for that, because they're like, yeah, well, we'll charge you £3 for it. But what their philosophy is now is if they think something's worth over £20, then it's going to eBay.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, most of them will not even operate that. Most of them will have somebody scanning every single title, every DVD, every Blu-ray, every CD. It'll all get scanned and either sent to Ziffit. They have like a threshold. I know where I used to work, they had a threshold of if you scanned it in and it was worth over a certain value, they'd either put it on their own eBay because they can achieve the full resale value of that item, or they'll just send it to Ziffit or Magpie or something like that. And the stuff that ends up on the shelves in charity shops is normally, they should be selling it at 10p each, something like that. By the time it ends up in the shop, it should be around that price because it's already been through several filters before it gets there.
We used to have a good relationship with the store manager at the Salvation Army with us, but she's now moved on. And the new store manager's come in, and the prices are tripled. She is charging now what CEX would charge for that film. It's not like a blanket 50p a Blu-ray or whatever now. It's right. Well, that Blu-ray's a £5 because that's what CEX is charging you for it and whatever else. And she's just killed the shop. She just killed it. No one buys anything.
I think a lot of it's to do with the amount of staff. If it's one person, because the donation centre around the corner from me, they've gone from having about 6 or 7 members of staff to like 2 and a few volunteers. Mm-hmm. And the volunteers are obviously there just to put the stuff out. There's they haven't really got the structure now to be able to be picky with a lot of the stuff. I think one of the things that we tend to find is like if I can catch it as it's coming in, then I could probably get a deal on it. If it's once it's gone past the desk and into the back and into the into storage, then the chances of seeing it is slim if it's decent.
Yeah, if you're getting that early backroom access, quickly, then that's when you're gonna get a deal because that's not gone through the process that the charity shop has. So if you can catch it before it starts the process of being scanned and checked and sent off to the eBay reps and all that, if you can catch it before then you've got a real chance of getting a deal.
I was saying to you the other day, that's what happened with that penny board though. Because literally I'd gone there just to have a look around and it had just come in through the corral thing, and I noticed it, and she was like, you know what, it's probably worth a bit of money, but I can't be bothered with it. So you can have it for £1, and it was like 30 set. It's what did you say it was 27-inch penny board, raster penny board, and it was like, right, I'm having that. I haven't been on a skateboard for years, but that was amazing. That for £1.
See, we're going to Manchester on Saturday, so the chances are I'm going to go in and out of all the little charity shops, all the charity shops, pick up a load of stuff, and then just take it straight into CEX and trade it in if I can. If not, then I won't be picking it up. That's just where I'm at. But my local CEX, they're just a pain in the ass. They're just hard to deal with. Even when you're buying stuff, it's just hard. You know, they're just little Hitlers. That's
little Hitlers.
Little
like I say, my guys are great round mine, so I'm happy.
I just fell out of love with our CEX. It would not bother me at all if the 6 of them were made redundant tomorrow.
You fucking well, Ash.
Just get out the shop.
Get them out of a job.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. You know. However, I can walk into Birkenhead and I love it in there. They're dead polite, dead easy to work with. You know, they just really love what they're doing. These lot have just been made redundant at a McDonald's and thrown in a CEX shop. Sorry.
Bloody hell, ran over.
Yeah,
but you do. I mean, we've spoke about it many a times. The different experiences with them. I mean, I've had that before with even charity shops. You know, you get different experiences. When I've got like a bless her, a little old lady or something, and she's lovely, or somebody that's has no people skills whatsoever. It's completely the night and day. But going back to what we were talking about, we very rarely find bargains in the charity shops for collecting, really, because a lot of them are going through that filter system, like Chris said. I said to you a few months back, I walked into the local donation centre and it had an absolutely ginormous Star Wars fighter, and it was tucked in the back near the office. And I was like, "What are you doing with that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's going on eBay." I'm like, brilliant, Okay, well, I didn't have the room for it anyway, but it would have been nice to at least have a look at it.
I picked something up to buy in our local shithole CEX, and I asked him to check the disc before we put it in the box, and he moaned about checking the disc. And when he put it in the box, he did say to me, "Look, that disc has got a little scratch on it." I said, "Right, okay. When I bring this back in 2 months' time to trade it back in, when I don't want to, are you going to accept that?" And he went, "No, we won't accept that with the disc, but you're willing to sell it to me with that disc, with that scratch on the disc?" Yeah, it's a different policy when we're buying in than when we're selling it. So stop being fucking pedantic.
Oh, yeah. I had the only gripe I had was I took some with my local CEX, just to give you an example on that, Steve. I took in a box set that I bought from them, and I was like, you know what? I'm never going to get around to watching it. I'll just get rid of it. And I took it in there. And I took it in with a load of other bits, and I went back, and they're like, "Oh, this has been rejected." And I was like, "Well, why has it been rejected?" "Oh, well, there's a bit of a crack on the inside. Now on this bit here, like in the middle." I was like, "Look, I'm not being funny. I bought that from you. I've never used the discs. I've never took them out of the box. So you sold it to me in that condition."
Yeah.
And to be fair, they're nice enough for me anyway. So like, I'm sure it'll be fine, and just put it through anyway. But originally they'd rejected it on the basis that there was damage to the disc when I hadn't even touched it. Yeah, I bought that off them in that condition, but because it was a box set, it was on the back shelf. So when they sold it to me, they never had to put the discs in. The discs were already in the box.
But yet they do shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
questionable copyrights there. Yeah. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Before we go any further, Steve, did you watch the homework this week?
No. Did you watch the homework this week?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Would you like to give us a review of the homework movie, Steve?
Well, when I did a bit of research into it before I watched it, one of the things that had been said was it's basically
Chris and smell the bullshit.
Yeah, it's basically about.
He's just read it on Google, and he's read it on internet database. He's been on there.
It's STDs, right? But they're not far wrong. I don't understand what the fascination, because what intrigued me about this one, and yes, I have gone out and bought the Blu-ray of it as well now, is it's come out recently in like a 4K set or something, and there's been loads of people buying it. And when I've looked at the reviews, it's like, oh, it's the best horror. It's one of my favourite horror movies, all this sort of stuff. But for me, it's proper bang average. People are being... So what happens? Gentleman has sex with this girl, right? And then tells this girl that something's going to hunt her down. But this something is an invisible entity. You can't see it. And the only way to get rid of it is to have sex with somebody else. And if they get killed... Yeah.
Right,
if they get killed, basically, if you've ever had sex...
an FBI.
Yeah, basically.
Right, okay.
In a way, because it doesn't matter if you're the third, it's gone 12 times since you. If all those 12 people get killed, it'll be chasing you again. It's really bizarre.
Sounds decent, to be fair. Could be worth a go.
Sounds like right.
It's not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's really bizarre, and it's like I don't understand how it's rated quite highly, but I watched it and I was like, yeah, it was all right, but you're basically saying you could end up dead if you have sex basically with anybody in this movie. So yeah, it's definitely worth a watch, but I'm not. It's not one of my favorites.
So
but you need to.
It's not one of your sex-ridden films, is it? Where
No.
everyone's having sex every 5 minutes.
Well, the thing is that I already had it on DVD, and that's when we said the other week. I was like, "Oh, okay, brilliant, yeah, I've got it." But when I went out to CEX today in Newark, I noticed it was in there for, I think it was about $5. So I was like, well, I might as well pick it up on Blu-ray anyway, because I'm guessing that people have been trading that in because they're buying this 4K one. Little Stevie's trying to spice this. Yeah, exactly, Jeff.
It's a good job that we're not monetized, isn't it? Because every time you mention the word sex, we've probably got banned from YouTube. Peter's saying Blockbuster Video had the chance to buy Netflix for $50 million 20 years ago. They left them over. Yeah.
I remember something about that. Yeah,
they did. But they chose not to.
Wasn't Netflix love film to start off with, and then
I used to love that. I used to subscribe to that. I think it was about £6 a month or something, or
unlimited films and unlimited games. So you can keep them as long as
different
you want.
levels. Yeah, you could have films and games, or just films, and you could have like 3 at a time, 2 at a time, 1 at a time, and you created a favorites list, and then it picked the next film out of your list, like the nearest,
and then you sent it back.
It was good. It was a really good concept, but obviously it's we've moved on now, but it was great at the time.
I mean, I would imagine the first sort of online streaming side of that, because I have seen some sort of program about it, but I can imagine that was proper primitive, like streaming this stuff online. When it first come out, I bet it was really, really terrible.
There's a company that still operates
dial-up internet. Sorry, Chris.
There's a company that still operates the same way to Netflix used to, but it's one of these art house movie companies. Like just the really niche films that niche sort of viewers will watch, but they operate the same way. You subscribe, they send it out in the post, and it comes back again. I can't remember. It's like Cinema Paradiso, something like that.
Yeah. So I watched. I finally got around to watching a movie this week. We'll talk about controversial. I finally got around to watching. What's that?
We've had our first super chat.
Oh wow! Oh Jeff, you're amazing.
Little Steve, you're not going to see any of that. You do know that, don't you?
Yeah, I realise that. You're probably going to get that when it comes to whatnot.
I don't know how we're going to claim that or what happens there, Jeff. I'll let you know how that happens.
You have to wait until your money gets to a certain level, and then they'll pay you out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, Jeff, you're amazing. That's
Yeah.
official. Wow.
That's gonna sit there now for 18 years, isn't it? Is our own
You just, hopefully we get interest on it.
But thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff, mate. I really appreciate that. But yeah, so I got round to watching the new version, the live action version of The Little Mermaid. Now, The Little Mermaid for me growing up, there was Aladdin, The Rescuers, and Beauty and the Beast, and The Lion King. That was my sort of era when it come to watching the animated movies. And to be fair, a lot of them saved Disney in some ways.
Yeah.
But I had the worst one I've had so far, I think, was Aladdin. I didn't really enjoy the live action.
I thought that were all right, though.
I don't know. I think it was a bit overdone. However, I sort of enjoyed the Little Mermaid live action, and that's not generally the consensus online when you look at any of the YouTube videos. There's a lot of people saying, like, the best part about the movie was Melissa McCarthy. She plays Ursula really, really well. You've got an amazing singer that plays Ariel that's not that great at the acting side of it. Eric is pretty dull. But one of the things that really sort of grated me a little bit about it was the ending to it has been changed. How Ursula gets killed is no longer Eric; it's Ariel that kills her.
To save Eric, yeah.
And
that was one of the big criticisms of the film, wasn't it? Was that Ariel is no longer given everything up to be with the man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, come on, in the original fairy tales and stuff like that, you know, and stuff that's always the case, you know. But they didn't want her to be a weak-minded woman giving up her life to be with a man that she's just met. And they didn't want to portray. I think didn't Beyonce or Katy Perry or someone come out and something similar crap. That it's portraying women in a weak-minded manner.
Well, there's a lot more controversy coming especially when it comes to Snow White, and then.
Well, she's been bought by Disney now.
What's that?
That Rachel Zegler or whatever her name has been sacked by Disney. She's no longer
been sacked by Disney. I don't know. You can sack someone after the fact.
Well, she was meant to be signing up, wasn't she, to do other films?
Oh, okay.
Rachel Zegler. She's been sacked by Disney, so she's no longer going to be doing any Disney work at all. It was due to comments she was making regarding the Snow White movie in.
That she was Snow White in.
Yeah, that she was the main character, and she wasn't happy with the way that it was being portrayed, and it was.
Yeah, basically what she said is the original was made in 1937.
Yeah,
and I think what's not been taken into account is, like any period piece of these movies, you know, it's about. I mean, I definitely looked into this where they were going on about, obviously at the time, the women were quite were doing, I say women jobs back in the day. That's what it was, quite a miserable time to be a woman, and what they were trying to portray at the time was obviously that these women could, you know, break out of that mundane life and become a princess and whatever else, and they'll find the Prince Charming and all that sort of good stuff. But nowadays, obviously, there's a lot of issues around these portrayals, and they don't want to be seen as the weak, like you said, weak women, and you know, it's not good for a guy to go, a prince to go and kiss someone that's without their permission and all this sort of good stuff. But what she's been doing is she's been going out and basically publicly slating the original. And I think that's what's caused a lot of the issues, is because she's come out and said it was totally inappropriate. You can't believe this has happened. You know, they should never have done this, da-da-da. And it's still, regardless of that, it's still part of their history. You know, so and I think that's the issue.
I'm going to lift the lid off Pandora's box here. would she have preferred to have a Taken style story of Snow White and Seven Dwarfs where 7 men have kidnapped a sleeping woman, tied her to the bed, and that
Oh, no.
because that's where it could have went. Is the the 7 dwarfs might not have all been happy, dope. It could have been rapey in somebody else, and I don't know where we can take these live action these live action sort of. The Lion King, you can forgive the Lion King because it's not,
Yeah.
Where do you take these live action films?
And this is the thing now, is that you I mean, like I said to you, I actually really enjoyed. Not really. I enjoyed the Little Mermaid. There's a few gripes with it that I had, and I've explained them. And the other thing as well is that there was unnecessary songs. So there's extra songs in there, and there's even a rap by the bird. I think that's purely because the actress that played the bird couldn't sing, so they've rapped a tune, and then the runtime is extended by a considerable amount. We've gone from maybe, and I'm guessing here, but maybe an hour and 30-minute movie to 2.5 hours. So, that extra length on the movie was a bit much. But other than that, it's a bit difficult because it's a bit like the last James Bond. Everybody was up in arms about the fact that there was a female 007 before the movie had even come out. Now, whether it was edited because of that reaction or whether this was the original plan, when you actually watch the movie, she's 007 for about half an hour because she gives that title back to him, But the thing is that the way that Disney are saying, what Disney are saying and what Disney are doing are two different things, because Disney are coming out, especially their head honcho now, saying, look, we've listened to people, we've realised we're making mistakes in whatever context you want to read that, but then they're still bringing these things out.
Yeah, but this was done before that statement.
Well, Cinderella Snow White won't be, will it?
No, the film was already in post-production, wasn't it? Before they came out and said, look, we've listened to you, we're putting too much content out that followed the previous 5, 6 years, 10 years worth of narrative. We're no longer doing that. And yeah, and going on with that.
Oh, okay. Was that Kylie Minogue?
Kylie was in that one.
No, it was Christina Silver something or other, wasn't it? Sonya Blade in.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it's going to tell me if I find it.
Oh no, Street Fighter was Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, I thought that.
She played Cammy, didn't she, in the first in Street Fighter? The one that played Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat was Christina Silver something or other. Because she was in Batman and Robin, wasn't she, as Batgirl?
Yeah. Oh, no, that's, I mean, what's she called? Oh, have you got it? Are you looking at it on your phone? Yeah. Right. Okay. But yeah, that's she said Street Fighter. Yeah. It's a difficult one because I always enjoy Disney films, and just the stuff that they're coming out with recently, especially all the live action stuff. It's a very mixed bag. I don't think they've Alicia Silverstone. Yeah, thank you, Nem. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
It was Silver something.
Yeah, Silverstone.
Again, Christina Applegate and thingy Silverstone mixed up.
Have you watched anything decent recently, Chris?
Well, I'll tell you what we watched. I'm not saying it's decent, but we watched Barbie the other day and watched Indiana Jones, the new one.
Okay.
Barbie actually starts off all right. It starts off in It starts off
no.
and it kind
Sorry, can I just correct you? Sorry about this. It's Bridget Wilson who played Sonya Blade in the first Mortal Kombat movie, and it's down as Bridget Wilson Sampras because she married Pete Sampras in 2000.
You're only correcting yourself because I told you it weren't Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I was wrong. Sorry, Chris, you were
Let's talk about
talking.
Barbie. This is where we're going with
Talking
this.
Barbie. Now I know you've both
Barbie.
seen Barbies. I've not seen Barbie yet.
I know. Don't ruin it for us.
It's absolutely shit. It actually starts off okay, and it kind of they make the transition from Barbie world land to the real world, and that's quite good. That's all right. Like, but then it just goes on and on and on and on, and it was I think it was more than 2 hours long. It's way too long. Anything over an hour and a half is just stupid. But yeah, in the end, I was really dozing off towards the end. It was just shite, absolute shite. And then we watched Indiana Jones, and it was okay, but again, dragged out for all it's worth. And also, about the first 20 minutes of Indiana Jones, I don't know if you've seen it, but the first 20 minutes or so, it's like a flashback with Indy in his younger years.
Yeah,
and it's basically CGI for it's CGI Indy. It's clearly him there, but he's been made by CGI for about 20 minutes, and I really found it hard to get past it because all I felt like I was watching was a souped up sort of cartoon, if you like, proper high end CGI of. You remember like Disney's Christmas Carol when it was kind of a weird Jim Carrey sort of face.
Yeah.
It was a better version of that, but you could tell it weren't real, and I couldn't.
Yeah, and then this is the thing. I think, I mean, if I remember rightly, was it Tron Legacy that was one of the first ones that did that, wasn't it? And
Tron Legacy did it with Hugh Bridges. Jeff Bridges, yeah.
But I mean, that was semi-decent. I think the thing is with that is that a lot of it was in the dark. It was quite a dark setting. So it was, although it was obvious, it wasn't as distracting. When you start seeing
that whole character was CGI, though, wasn't he? That Clue was all CGI. It wasn't a person with a
no. Because obviously, it was him younger years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that it's like one of the ones that started really annoying me was when they did there's one with Superman in where he had the mustache from Mission Impossible because they refused because of his he was contractually obliged to keep this mustache, so they wouldn't let him shave it. So when he did the filming for bloody hell, what's the film?
Justice League.
Thank you. It was very visible that this thing was sort of floating on his face. They did tidy it up a bit when it came to Zack Snyder's version of the movie, which was cool. But there's I want to say the Gentleman. No, it's not the Gentleman, is it? It's the Mafia one. What's it bloody called? With Robert De Niro in and that.
Godfather.
No. I've got it here. I've just got to figure out what it's called. It's doing me head in. No, it's the recent one they did.
Right, yeah.
The Irishman. And it was quite evident. A lot of the daytime shots, you could see that it was quite evident that they had done that. So I can understand what Chris is saying. I mean, I think CGI is getting worse than it is getting better, to be honest. I think the quality of what they're putting out is terrible.
I think when we were talking about CGI and special effects of the Lawnmower Man the other week, that was top of the range, cutting edge of what they could do at the time they released that film.
Yeah.
Have we got, because if you think the CGI for The Rock and Scorpion King,
oh God, you remember? Bloody hell,
wasn't brilliant. So
no.
Do you think we've got to the edge of where technology can take us with CGI, and then we're pushing it too much like we did with the Scorpion King?
Maybe, but it is distracting.
I think they're right on the edge of what they can do without actually replicating photographic images. without actually doing that.
Yeah.
I think they're right on the end of what they can do without it being photo real, like actually animating a live action person. I think they're right on the edge of it. And I think like you'll see it where if you watch Indiana Jones for about 20 minutes, that opening 20 minutes, it's so heavy CGI on his face and everything's green screen. All the fast moving shots, they're so blatantly CGI that it really puts you off the whole thing.
Yeah,
it really does. But
See,
if you think like really the CGI at the high end films hasn't really come on a lot in 30 years, right? Because if you think back to like Jurassic Park 1 is the first one that comes to mind where it was groundbreaking, that they were making up new ways to do CGI that had never been done before. And then you look at the very latest Jurassic World, and for me, there ain't a lot of difference in the level of CGI. There's more of it. They can make these vast worlds and make it more, real than that. But in essence, the actual CGI of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World Dominion, I don't think there's you wouldn't think they were, 30 years apart, basically. 1903. Yeah, 30 years apart. You would never believe that. And the same, I think, goes for how old is Avatar, the first one?
Yeah,
I don't think there's massive difference with Avatar and Avatar 2.
Well, that was the only reason why Avatar 2 didn't come out, wasn't it? It was because the fact he was waiting for the CGI to catch up to where he wanted it to be.
Yeah, that was what he was saying.
Didn't really see it. I think they could have done it on the original. They could have done it on the original level. I don't think 90% of us watching probably wouldn't notice.
Fletch One saying Tron was another example. The remake, Tron Legacy, did it in such a way, though. That scene where you see Alan, you see Clue, and you see what was Jeff Bridges' character called? Flynn. When you see all three of them standing on that cliff when they start building, and then you see the ISOs coming in, that CGI of all three of them being de-aged looks absolutely amazing. You knew it was, you knew what you were looking at, but the way that he did that, and then Clue all the way through that film. I know he was a complete CGI character, but it didn't miss a beat. You didn't know, But then, there is new stuff out now, and you're like, why the hell am I even watching this?
I think the thing is that if you had a film that was predominantly that was a big part of that film. That was like a massive part to have Jeff Bridges looking younger for the Tron, right? Whereas when you look at something like Indiana Jones or stuff like that, these things are all flashbacks. They're not the main part of the story. It's 20 minutes, say, like you said at the start. So I don't know whether the same effort's been put in or what, but do you think that the danger is that if there is a market for these sort of films, I mean, you could get somebody to be a body double. Essentially, all I don't know, let's say Sylvester Stallone. All he needs to do is physically have a load of things attached to his face, act it out, and then it can be CGI'd. So there's a potential there that if this is becoming more and more of a thing, then we might get a prequel to Rocky. We might get a prequel to Rambo when he's actually over there in Vietnam or wherever it is. And we could end up with more and more of these films tying in with franchises just because they have the ability to be able to do that.
I think what you'll find is that you'll have Rocky being 68 now or whatever he is, and then you'll have a 20-minute sequel, a 20-minute sequence of Rocky in between, say, Rocky 3 and Rocky 4. Because you see him in all those different fights, don't you, up until that point where he's defending the title and whatever else, and Mickey's like, no, you're not fighting this bloke and whatever else. And then in Rocky 4 you see the downfall go. So you can have like a sequence in between that where you see that, and it's sort of like a dream sort of sequence where they've de-aged him quite a bit. You know, I don't think you get a whole movie of something in between.
I'm just saying. I mean, the thing is,
Rocky,
Well, the
but
AI stuff comes in, you might do.
Yeah, it's
This
not
is what I'm
beyond
thinking.
that. It's not beyond that. You're right, Neil. There is the writers' strike has come to an end now because
Well, what was that, guys?
they've agreed with the studios that they're not going to use that auto AI or whatever it is to write parts of the scripts and that simulate how the writers would have wrote it. Because I think that was one of the big problems, weren't they? They were saying write a script in the style of a Steve Jackson episode, and before you realise it, you've got this episode of whatever written in my style, so you're not missing a beat in the episodes. They've now written in that they're not going to do that going forward. So that the writers will have to rewrite the episode.
Who's going to know? Who's going to know? It's like, okay, we won't do that. In the meantime, someone's on a computer. Can you write Chat GPT? Can you write as a new episode? Oh yeah, here it is. Here's what I wrote.
Yeah.
Who's going to know? I don't know. Do you think that they're? Do you think that the some of the dodgy level of CGI that seems to be coming out at the moment in blockbuster films, like Indiana Jones as a point, do you think that is happening because maybe budgets for these films are less than what they used to be because cinema takings are down all over the world? You know, maybe they're not making as much money on a big blockbuster as what they did 5 years ago. Do you think the budgets are less than what they used to be? So
I think the cinema's on its last breath.
Yeah, I do.
Whenever I've been a couple of times this year because I don't pay for it. I get that free cinema ticket, don't I? So whenever I've gone, the cinemas have been empty. There's me and Lana, and then maybe 2 or 3 other couples in the cinema, and that'll be it. I think gone are the days where you've got like a blockbuster sold out over 5 screens opening night. I think that's well and truly gone.
And maybe that's in the minds of the makers. It's like, okay, so we might not make billions on this, but we're certainly going to make money, but we'll have to cut back a bit on the spend.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that nowadays you don't actually need the bloody actor to be alive to be able to recreate them.
Well, that's what Fletcher's talking about there, about Peter Cushing's.
Yeah.
They brought him back to play Admiral Thingy in Star Wars, didn't they?
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll start putting in people's contracts when they sign up for films that the character belongs to the company, and if we decide that we're going to bring them back when you're not around, then that's up to us. You have no right
likeness.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me, but that's what one of the Black Mirrors was, wasn't it? That released this season of Black Mirror that came out. One of them is about their identity on, I think it's on social media or something or other, something they did, and it's like on the contract, on one of the contracts, it was that they could basically use their likeness for anything. Sort of owned it after it was one of those situations where you just don't read through any of the terms and conditions and just go, yeah, next.
Yeah.
What was it? They'd signed up for like Netflix, or it was their version of Netflix, and a program was made based on that person, and they were like, how have they managed to do that? And it was like, well, you've accepted it by accepting the terms and conditions. But it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, this is the point, Jeff, is that with the technologies nowadays, as annoying as it is, and when it's not done right, and it isn't done right a lot of the time, there is a potential that they could bring characters back at any given point. They don't necessarily.
30 years.
Yeah, they don't necessarily.
Years, what is AI going to be able to create CGI wise in 30 years? Are they just going to be able to like upload a few different photos of a person, and then they're going to be able to literally animate that in photographic level detail?
It's interesting, but it's one of those things that say you sat there and you could tell straight away for the first 20 minutes that it wasn't and Indiana Jones didn't look right.
Yeah, it's like he had Botox. His expressions
Yeah.
he was almost expressionless for that
Yeah.
time. You'll know when you watch it. You'll see exactly what I mean. Both me and Belle were sort of like can't get.
One of the things I was going to say earlier on was the thing for me is like what amazes me about this situation, especially like you were talking about Barbie and how long it was. Like the generation now, they don't have the same attention span.
No.
What we did back in the day, and ours were an hour and a half, 2 hour movies. You know, so to sort of push out nearly 3 hour movies every time it's a big summer blockbuster. It's quite amazing that they think that these people are going to sit there and be able to take all that information in.
Yeah,
And actually
Barbie's
enjoy
2
it.
hours, Barbie. Yeah, and it felt like it. I mean, I don't understand like how kids, like little kids, are sitting through that length of time.
It's not a little kids movie, though, is it?
Well,
Yeah,
but they're the
it's
ones who are going to
actually-
want to see it, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
You'd
you
think.
know. But that's the same with that Little Mermaid. Like I said to you, I enjoyed it, but it got to a point where I sort of started losing interest for a bit because I was like, I don't recognize this bit. It seems to have been going on forever, you know. But it just
An hour
amazes
and
me.
54 minutes, Chris.
Yeah.
What's that?
Barbie, an hour and 54 minutes. I'm surprised you even watched that.
Well,
The king of an hour and a half movies.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
anything over an hour and 20 minutes, you weren't watching, was it?
I didn't
Remember
know
that?
it was that long until we was in. So
We
yeah.
was in.
Yeah, but not good.
What about yourself, Steve? Have you watched anything?
What have I been watching? I watched that new Wrestlers documentary on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm
The one
trying to get
about
into it.
FWO. FEW. I watched that. And that then put me on to the TV series Heels with Stephen Amell.
Oh, right, okay.
On Amazon. That's quite good, but unfortunately they've just cancelled it after season 2. They're not going to make any more. So that's a bit of a disappointment, but it just fell fall of Amazon and Stars, not Amazon, Stars and Disney. It is, isn't it? Not Amazon. Where they make content and then just cancel it for no apparent reason. So that's what I've been watching this week. And I haven't done the homework. I never.
You won't say it. I never do. You set the
I do my homework.
Yeah, all right. Sarah's currently watching Orange is the New Black. I love that, Max. I've got the box set of it.
That.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Orange is the New Black. Orange is the New Black. It was.
I did the homework last week. What was the homework last week?
We didn't have one. We were going to look at one, but we never did.
What was the homework the week before?
Oh God.
Watchmen. I did that
Watchmen,
one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Watchmen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that's a cracking movie. So let's go back to what we were originally talking about. Was about collecting stuff and picking up stuff. Like, have you found that you've got like a niche of stuff you're picking up then, Chris? So I know we've said about Jurassic Park. Is it? I'm guessing if I was to reel it off, I'd be going Jurassic Park, horror, tiki mugs, obviously.
For some strange reason.
I've just got a look for them at the minute. I've got one coming for my birthday. By the way, if anyone in the chat wants to send me a birthday present, feel free. Coming up 11th of October, my birthday. And I've got a new tiki mug coming in. It's cost Belle quite a bit because it's a Killer Clowns one. I've never seen it before, yeah.
Hey, Rich. No way,
this
that's
is my tiki collection here, just coming on nicely.
So, why have you got Harley Quinn?
Where? Oh,
Down
the Harley
bottom.
Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one. I noticed the second I walked in your room.
Yeah, because you want it, don't you?
100% I do.
I know why you want it, because you want it ogler.
Yeah, no, it's because the character.
He'll get done for fiddling plastic.
You cheeky fuck.
Now, this was one of my
No way.
first. And this was an early figure that I picked up, like
Was
years, quite a few years back now. There's one of my first ones, but I just liked it, obviously, because it's a nice looking figure.
It's very colourful, isn't it? It's a really
nice.
nice figure, to be fair. But the thing is that you're not a fan of Marvel.
I don't mind the first one.
Hang on. Is it a really nice figure, or is it a really nice model of a really nice figure?
Hang on,
Well,
this is coming from the guy that gets a kick out of Transformers. Come on. You've got nothing to say there.
Mine aren't based on real people's proportions here, Steve, are they really?
But it was a good fit. I liked the first Suicide Squad. I thought that was a really good film.
I enjoyed the first one.
Suicide Squad, I wasn't really as
it just didn't seem like it was in proportion to everything else you had in your collection. That was all.
No, it's not really. It's not, but I do like it. But I just pick up things. I tend now to go for the ones with the films that I like most. But anything unusual or I don't know. Just if I like it or not, it doesn't have to be.
I mean, Walking Dead was another big thing. I remember when I first started watching your channel, there was a lot, especially like in the intro. There was a lot of it to do with The Walking Dead and obviously the wedding and everything like that.
Yeah, I didn't know we had the Walking Dead wedding until they posted.
No, I didn't know.
Memories
Did you not know that? Did you not
know?
No,
he's never really mentioned it, has he?
No.
Yeah, so obviously I've got a lot of Walking Dead stuff because of that. Yeah, and I'll still pick up Walking Dead now if I see it, and I haven't got it in my collection, but I've got quite a big collection of stuff.
But it's interesting to see the variation of stuff that you have behind you, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite a mixture. I mean, obviously, I would say Wilson is probably predominantly because you're a big Tom Hanks fan.
Yeah.
I've
got a lot of Back to the Future as well. I've got almost a full cabinet. One of the what's happened here? Oh, it's me
on full screen.
One of these cabinets here. This one. There. That one is almost all. Oh, I can't do it there.
It's difficult, isn't it? Yeah.
Almost all Back to the Future in that one, so I do collect a lot of that. I guess it's mainly films from your childhood, the ones that bring you back memories and stuff.
Yeah, Neil said a Walking Dead wedding. Yeah, did you not mention that?
You've got little Steve on the shelf there next to you, Shrek.
Yeah, funny, sad. You look a bit more like Shrek than I do.
You fucking cheeky twat.
Says you. You just compared me to him.
I know, but it's all right when I
can't
do it.
Really see him, but I have got some. Let me go handheld.
Oh, we're going handheld.
Well, that's it.
That's it now.
There's me.
I've started collecting more Coco stuff now.
That did surprise me about that because I didn't know you were into that. But I like Coco.
It's probably one of my favourites, along with Wall-E. Is my favourite Disney.
Yeah.
And then we've got stuff over there.
Again, horror stuff, really, innit? I want the gummy bears.
So, what have you got on the way of Funko sodas on that shelf, then, Chris?
Not many. I've got Chucky and I've got 2 from the American Office. But I've got my eye on quite a few at the minute. Have you seen the new thing? There's a new Funko thing come out.
Is it sure it's not? Is it on your whatnot next week by any chance?
I've not managed to find any yet. I'll tell you what it is now, but they look really cool. They're in the style of the old Blockbuster video boxes.
Oh, okay.
A bit like the sodas, but they're in video boxes. Let me just tell you what they're called.
I tell you what, though, I will
Rewind.
Oh,
okay.
Funko Rewind. They look really nice.
I wouldn't mind that gummy bear if you're ever selling it, Chris.
The gummy bear.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's bouncing here and there and everywhere, and he knows I've just said that.
Why do you want that?
Because I'm willing to pay more than a $5 for it.
Okay, now Belle bought me that for I think it was either a birthday or Christmas or something. So
you've got no chance, and especially that $4.50 you'd offer him.
I'll get in trouble for that one.
What was it? Funko what? Sorry.
Funko Rewind.
They're really cool. They're in these little mini Blockbuster.
Yeah.
boxes.
It's the same as the Funko sodas, it's just in video
Exactly.
VHS.
Yeah,
boxes.
I think they just rebranded the packaging on them.
Yeah.
They're clever, aren't they?
It's good though, because what you could do with those is you could stack them on your shelf a bit like a video and have, you could fit loads on your
The
shelf.
fact that everybody went didn't have the room for all these VHS, and now they're going to fill the room with VHS size
VHS
boxes.
Funkos. The Crow one looks amazing.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I'm
just
keeping
looking
my
at
eye
them,
out
and
for those.
There's a Jurassic Park one there.
Yeah.
The
Like
Cylon
15
from
quid.
Battlestar.
They're not massively expensive, are they? Like 15 quid a go.
No, they're all similar prices to what you pay like a soda for and stuff,
Jeff says Chris's real niche is UK size 6 trainers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, Jeff.
That's why I can never buy any clothing from Chris. He's either got kiddie size or little Steve size.
I don't know. I was watching his video today, Steve. He's got XXXL in multiple different.
That's harsh. That's harsh, Steve.
I'm just saying he had a lot bigger sizes.
You know who your friends are, innit?
I know.
He's just compared me to Shrek. No chance am I taking that.
Hey, go and put your vest top on.
I'm not putting that on. It's like a small. I'm saving it for special occasions. Yeah, I was watching that video today and I was like, oh, there's a few nice things there. And then he's like, this is a size 56, which is equivalent to 4XL. Like,
Yeah,
Jesus.
big.
So,
Jesus.
I know you've just moved house, Chris, and I know you've expanded onto the hallway, but like you say, a lot of that is Belle's Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Right. So, as you're aware with me, I'm only allowed in my room. If it doesn't fit in this room, I can't really have it. Was that a sort of prerequisite to what you were trying to do within your office, or were you allowed to expand out of your office space?
When we first moved, I actually wasn't going to put any of my toys in here. This was just going to be a work room, because ideally I would have liked to have had, ideally I wouldn't have all that there. Right? That would be like my whatnot station already set up, and I wouldn't need to keep moving it every time I have a show coming up. So I would like to have had more space there, even though this room is at least twice as big as my last office.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So the plan was to have all my toys out in the landing area, but it became clear it was never going to go there. I was going to have those two cabinets at the back were going to go out there as well as what's out there now, but it became clear that it was going to be too congested up there anyway. So, and then we thought, well, can we put it on the loft? Well, not really, because the eaves are quite low, so we couldn't go high in there. So in the end, I brought them into here, and I think it works okay. But I think in an ideal world, this room really would be more work related, because I could have stuff set up, for my entire work week. Whereas when it comes up to like doing whatnot, I have to bring in my extra table. I have to move things round to fit the show for the evening, and then dismantle it again at the end of it. Whereas I'd rather not do that if I can help it, but it's not the end of the world.
So what would the sort of like holy grail piece of your collection be?
What, that I own?
That you own, yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I have like something that's amazingly like grailish. I mean, I've got quite a few NECA figures that have got good value. I've got the Exorcist on the bed. That's worth a fair bit. I'm not, to be fair to you, I'm a collector, but I'm not one to like go crazy and spend hundreds on an item.
No, but that Exorcist on the bed one, I can't see you paying a massive amount for it, but it is actually worth a massive amount.
It cost me next to nothing. There is a video out where I picked that up. It cost me next to nothing. That.
Are we talking back in the days in Manchester then? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a video on that. It was
Cheers,
a Facebook I bought a
See you later,
Facebook pickup of NECA figures, and I kept most of them in the end. And I don't know how much it cost me now, but you're talking a few pounds each one.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of Back to the Future big cars and stuff that are worth a bit. I don't know if there's a grail here. Probably not. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of mid-range, mid-value.
Yeah.
Well, taking value out of the equation, then which is the piece that's got the most emotional attachment?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, hang on a minute. I'm being told off here. Hang on. What?
Your Jurassic Park one is unique. I've not seen one like that since.
No, I've seen them on eBay.
I haven't seen it.
Belle bought me a Jurassic Park sort of diorama figure thing.
I mean, that straight away is the Holy Grail and the most sentimental piece you've got there.
Yeah, probably that then. Yeah. Belle says the first thing that she ever bought me was Wilson, so I've got to say that.
That was the beginning of his collection.
That was the beginning of my collection. And
you bought him a footy, and then he's gone from there.
Do you know what? Do you know when I first moved in with Lance, and I showed you, I shared you guys a picture, didn't I, of that one little bookcase that I had for the Transformers.
With like 6 Transformers on it.
The Optimus Prime up there, the big one in the corner, was the first one that Lana bought me to start me collection back off 6-7 years ago, and then obviously it's just grown from there. So,
I mean, Lou bought me that Tony Stark heart one, the thingy from his chest. That's really cool and quite expensive when she bought it, But I mean, for me, like, that's the Holy Grail.
Obviously, yeah.
That's my Holy Grail.
Yeah. So Belle, out of all the stuff that you hijacked in Chris's Harry Potter bundle the other week, what's your favourite piece?
She got a show.
She just walked out.
Oh, okay.
Steve was asking you what your favourite Harry Potter thing is.
Item that I've got on my shelf.
Yeah. She don't like any of it, really.
She doesn't.
I love it all.
That's why it's next to the bathroom door.
Anytime today, babe. Jesus Christ.
He's laughing a lot.
So if
Is
you
it a three-headed dog?
I am pretty attached to my Christmas present that.
Oh, don't pick something that I bought you.
No, but look at that.
Apparently this.
Hey, Abby.
It's got a sock.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool, that.
And he was officially built and made for me. He's not even second hand.
Wow, and that's rare in your household to get something that's not second hand, isn't it, Belle?
It is. His date of birth has got my name on it.
That's lucky that he managed to find that at Carboot.
No, my eldest got it, me and his fiance.
Oh, so Chris didn't actually buy it for you.
That's what I mean. I just said it's not even something that I bought.
But if you're asking me, the cutest thing that I like that Chris bought me is my niffler.
That was only not long ago.
My niffler. I do like him.
What's inside it?
He's Fantastic Beast, not Harry Potter, though.
Yeah, same thing.
See, I've not really got on well with the Fantastic Beasts.
I quite like the first one with the introduction of all the little creatures, but after that, I'm not keen on it.
Yeah.
Don't throw him.
Just chuck your axe out.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just seen the first item on Chris's Whatnot on Tuesday.
That's it, yeah. Good in for Dobby.
So, if there was one piece of memorabilia that you'd want, Chris, in your room, what would it be?
I'll give you two things that I'm always looking for, and that is a really good Johnny Five figurine.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and the Quantum Leap Handlink replicas.
Yes.
Oh, Ziggy.
Yeah,
you can get those made. You can have them custom made for you, but they're about £500. So
yeah,
I'm always looking for one of them on eBay if someone ends up putting one up.
the best thing to do is have a look at for Johnny Five. Have a look at Nottingham Johnny Five replica on Facebook, because they built one. They built a proper one. It goes to all the conventions. It's brilliant. But they've started doing small ones. I don't know if it's a 3D printed or what. I've got no idea. But
I've seen a lot of the 3D printed ones, but I don't like the finish on them. I don't think it's good enough. I'd like to see a proper, proper figurine.
Yeah, like a Necker or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah,
yeah, I know what you mean. But I'm going to find out how much he wants for these ones, because I think he's doing them to order.
Yeah. I'd definitely pay up for something like that. I would.
Yeah. Jeff said, "How's Belle? Has she recovered yet?"
She's clear of COVID as of today. She got a clear test, but she's still not right. She's only working 4 hours a day now at the minute, and she comes back. But obviously it takes her a lot longer to recover from stuff like this than a normal person. So
that's true.
She is clear, but hopefully when I test tomorrow, because yesterday I tested and I was only a tiny faint line left, so I reckon tomorrow I'll be gone. But I'm still not 100%.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
So, what would your holy grail search piece be, Steve? What are you keeping yours?
To be honest with you, I think as regards to, I think me and Chris are on the same wavelength with the Johnny Fives, because we both looked at the same ones on bloody eBay at one point.
I've seen some good ones, and I've nearly pulled the trigger on a few.
Well, do you remember there was those two that were about 150 quid or something, weren't they?
Could have got them.
Yeah, but they were models that had been built. They were models,
but they look quality. I should have gone for one of them.
Yeah,
just didn't want to pay the money.
Yeah, he weren't budging on the price. I don't think either. I think if I remember rightly, I messaged him.
Wanting a £45 out of your budget, though, isn't it, Steve?
Shut up, you. But I mean, I'm always open to a good NECA figure, or these new ones that I've never seen before that Chris managed to source. But yeah, I'd like to get another RoboCop, the NECA one, the big one, the room guard sort of ones, because I should never have sold that. I don't even remember selling it. I remember it being taken to a car boot, but I don't remember it. It probably got about a tenner for it at the time. But obviously, with the age of them now, it's. I was watching one on Vinted, and I think they wanted about 100 quid for it. So I didn't bother with that. But yeah, it'd be nice to find something like that. I'll tell you what, I would like a small. I know, not name dropping, but Nick Hills had some Power Rangers recently. I'd like to get a set of the original Power Rangers. You know, the ones that flick over, the head to turn over, because they were cool. Like a green one and a white one, especially, because obviously that's one of my favourites.
Hence why I got you the White Ranger the other week.
Yeah, like he stood up there, just half the size of the Godzilla.
I was made up when I saw that, because you don't really see many things like that out there. You see all the figures all the time, but I was just made up when I saw that.
No, it's amazing, but it's only about half the size of Godzilla that Jeff got me, and Jeff's not my best bud, so what's that saying?
Neither am I.
No, you're right, Chris is. I've got pictures of him everywhere.
Don't flatter yourself with that title.
What about yourself? Is there, apart from like the £1,200 Transformer that we spoke about?
What, the Optimus automatic Transformer?
Oh no, the Optimus automatic. I sent him a deal on one of those the other day, and I was expecting him to maybe pull the trigger on.
They're not that expensive, really, are they? They're about, what are they, about 300-400 quid or something?
They are now. They've come down in price. The new Grimlock's 1,400 quid.
Bloody hell.
The Robo Sen Grimlock. There is a Transformer that
not necessarily the most expensive, but like, what's your holy grail on it?
There is a Transformer that Manic Mine has got in Warrington, and it's a Fortress Maximus figure. He's about 3 foot tall, and it's about 350 quid, 400 quid. and I would love it. You know, it's the biggest transformer they've done, or that they did do until these Robo Sends have come out. And yeah, it'll be a great addition, but it's just justifying the money for it.
Mm.
You know, the Starbase 55's got a Starbase 55's got a Triptychon, and that again, that's 150 quid, and I'm just wanting to pull the trigger on it, but I know Lana would divorce me. Spending
You could sell one of your cars.
one of his collection.
One of my collection. Do you know, I almost bought a smart car the other day.
Oh my god!
just because it looked
Oh, Steve, if we're going to go boot sale at weekend, can I go in a car that's not going to break down, please?
Oh, I see how it is. Yeah, car boot friends now, are we?
Yeah.
Told you, you're not my
buddies.
Well, do you know if you turned up? Do you know if you turned up to the live stream before 40 seconds before we went live, you might have actually been part of that conversation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So where are you going then? Tell everyone.
Do you know when no, we're not saying which car boot we're going to because we don't want all the mad fans joining.
We don't want to be flocked and stopped from consulting. Smart Roadster says Channel Nem. I had a Smart Roadster.
Yeah, it was just the normal Smart, the normal 2-seater one, not the Roadster.
The Back to the Future one.
I just say that, Jeff.
Yeah, well, that you see, one of these days, what I want to do is that, and Lana's got the same dream. She wants to go to the auction, buy a ship box, just drive it around and see what she bought for 300 quid and what condition it's in.
And you bought a few shit boxes recently.
No, I haven't.
Totally reliable, yeah.
The Mazda is what 56 plate 2006. Okay, so it's nearly 20 years old, that car. And
has that been on the side of the motorway?
That's in the garage at the moment, having the starter motor replaced.
Yeah.
The Mini is a 1987 Mini, so that's nearly 40 years old.
Didn't you have that at the side of a motorway as well?
Yeah, but that's a classic car. It's not a classic car unless it's been on the side of a motorway.
That's true.
However, what I've done with the Mini now, though, is that I've bought a Haynes manual, so I've now got that, so I can have a look at that and I can learn how to what's to do with the Mini. And I've bought all those
manual. Is it like this?
Yeah, the book, yeah. And it's got pictures in, so I can see what I'm looking at.
All
right. But I've bought a lot of like waterproof stuff. Do you know, the water shield and the weather shielding for to go around the Mini engine bay to stop it from getting wet. So a lot of the classic car enthusiasts have developed these things to stop these from happening. So I've bought a load of that stuff. So I'm looking forward to using the Mini. I've got me my plaque now for Wirral to Llandudno in January. So I've signed up to we're going from Bromborough, the Croft Retail Park in Bromborough, to Llandudno. We're going up the Orme in the Minis. So there's going to be about 100 Minis, and my Mini is going to be number 33.
Got to help anyone behind you.
So the good
it breaks down. It holds up the whole fucking thing.
Well, the good job is though, if I'm Mini 33, there's at least 32 other blokes that know how to fix the Mini if it breaks down.
That's true. Yeah, that's
true.
They're not going to stop for you though. They'll be like, "No, sod him. Mine's still going."
So yeah, that's what we're doing in January. We're going from Bromborough to Llandudno, in the Minis. So. It should be a good thing. We'll beep our horns as we go past you, Chris.
Great.
Yeah.
Should be interesting now. Should be interesting. I hope you enjoy that.
It should be interesting. And to be fair, I'm really enjoying learning about the cars to the point where I was planning on selling them all and buying something else.
So Neil's got a question.
No, it doesn't. No, it's not the RX-7 rotary engines where is what he's talking about there, but the MX-5 just got a standard 2-litre engine.
Right. What are we doing then? Are we going to get a homework for next week or what?
No, I think we'll just wing it. I think we'll wing it, and we'll put our guest on the spot, and we'll ask him to come up with a suggestion. Not Zombievers, not Rubber. We'll ask him to come up with a suggestion of a movie. We'll put him on the spot.
Oh God, what can I say? You needed to give me some time to think about this.
Well, I wouldn't be putting you on the spot if I told you at the start of the show I was going to ask you.
Let me have a look at my list of.
He has a habit of this, Chris.
I know. Why would you do that to me? I can't remember what happened yesterday, let alone what film to bloody come up with. Let me sort all my movies into order of worst films first.
Zombievers number 1.
Let me see if anything pops out at me that you might not have seen.
We need some like hold music at this point, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, that's it.
So just why Chris is
carry on.
Just why Chris is going through his film thing. If you haven't already, ladies and gents, please go and check out his channel. It's Cookie and the Haydens. Belle is the star of the show, followed by Cookie, and Chris just happens to be there. And then go through and check out Whatnot and stuff like that. Chris is not the only seller on Whatnot. So if you're looking for stuff like Pokemon cards or action figures or comics or anything like that, Whatnot is a great place to go and get items on the cheap. And I'll put the affiliate link into our Facebook page there. So if you sign up and if you register as a new account, you'll get a free £10 to spend. And when you spend your money, I'll get a free £10, and I can continue to expand my collection and support sellers like Chris and people like that on the platform as well. So everybody wins, shall we say. Everybody wins. Are you ready, sir?
Right. What about two feel-good / sad movies, but
You can't get through one.
you've probably seen them both. But they kind of. What about Almost an Angel?
I've not seen that one.
You not seen it?
No.
With what's his face? Crocodile Dundee in it.
Oh yes, God, that's a nice. Is that a
Let's
nice
do that
film?
one. Almost an Angel. Almost an Angel. That is a cracking film. You need to watch it.
Almost an Angel with Paul Hogan. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like an interesting homework movie.
That's a
Make sure you do it, otherwise I ain't coming back on again. I'm not having this.
I'll definitely do that one, mate. I'll watch that one over the weekend.
Will you? Will you now?
Yes, because I'm busy during the week working. Unlike some.
Cheeky son. Almost an Angel.
That's the one. Little Steve's got to go out and buy it, of course, instead of just watching the thing.
He's buying a copy now, isn't he? Just so he can flash
it on there. And he's searching all the local 20-mile radius CEXs, see if they've got it in stock.
There isn't one on CEX. That's how.
Do you know what he'll do though, Chris? He'll order it on eBay, and then next week he'll go, "Oh, it didn't come in time, and I didn't get round to watching it."
No, there's no excuses. You can probably stream that somewhere.
Yeah, Almost an Angel. Is it on Fbox? Let's have a look.
Almost.
If not, Chris, we're coming to yours and we can watch it on your thingy.
Can do.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a 1990 film.
That's it.
Yeah, there it is. I've got it.
I'll have to have a look into that one then.
That means there's a chance he won't watch it.
I will watch the bloody thing. If it, I'll have to.
If what? It kills you.
If it, yeah. I mean, I'll probably enjoy it. It's him that'll say it's shit.
I can't see how you can't enjoy it. It's a great film.
How many times have you two clashed on taste when it comes to movies?
All the time because he watches shite.
There you go, see?
It's a great 90s sort of typical feel-good movie.
All right, guys. Well, I need to get something to eat soon. My levels are going low.
Oh yeah, I just noticed you've not sat here munching a McDonald's.
Yeah, where's your pick
or,
and mix tonight?
Yeah.
No, I'd had something to eat earlier, but my insulin's kicked in, so I'm now at a point where I'm getting a bit low.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll call tonight's show an end before little Steve.
Amazing show.
Before little Steve keels over live on stream. Chris, thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have friends of the channel on. It's always great to catch up with yourself as well. I've got a couple of videos coming out. Little Steve still hasn't done his thumbnails from 3 weeks ago, so don't count on them. And yeah, so thanks very much, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.